In today's video, we're going to be going over the design phase of a web design project. I always tell my clients, this is the fun part, so enjoy it. And I truly do mean it because this is an area of the project where we want to let our creativity flourish and experiment with new ideas, because that is ultimately what it's going to take to create something innovative that is going to be able to help your company stand out from the competition online. And ultimately, that is going to result in a website that is able to produce consistent business results for your company. So there's three main parts you need to know when it comes to the design phase. There is the UX design part, there is the content development and copywriting part, and then finally there is the UI design part. So I'm going to briefly go over each of these three sub-phases, if you will, within the project right now. Phase number one is the UX design phase. So essentially here, you can think about this as just creating the general blueprints for the website. Here, we're taking a very big picture, 30,000 foot view of the project. And what I mean by that is we're going to take wireframes for each page of the website. Wireframes, if you don't know, are just essentially a visual representation of a web page in a design software. And at first, we're going to focus on creating just the layout and the content structure for each page. We're not going to be focusing on the design right away. We're not going to be focusing on things like colors and all that. Rather, we just want to nail down the structure, because once we nail down the structure and what content each page is going to feature, then we can just focus on designing each section of those wireframes. However, if we were to focus on the design first, along with the copy and the content and all the other different moving parts of this phase, then it would ultimately end up in several more revisions than is necessary. This would make for a very inefficient process and ultimately delay your project. So the goal here is to nail down the content and layout of each page. We present these initial designs to our client to get their feedback. Generally, because they trust us to be experts, there's not a whole lot of revisions in this phase. That comes later on during the UI design phase, which I'll discuss later. The benefit here is that by taking the time to nail down a coherent structure for each page, we're able to put ourselves in the shoes of your prospective website visitors and your prospective clients. And this way, we're able to think about what content they need to view and engage with. That's going to help them learn more about your company, view its services, see what makes you different from the competition, answer any questions they have, and ultimately establish your company as a trusted, likable source. This step is super important, not just because of the timeline and project considerations, which I talked about earlier, but also just to ensure that we are providing the right content that prospective clients or customers of yours are going to want to engage with when they're on the website. Because ultimately, we're going to have to ensure that to achieve the ultimate goal of generating leads for your website, we're going to need to create coherent, logical content structures that give people the information they need depending on where they are in their research or buying cycle. So just to wrap up this section, in the UX part of the design phase, we're just focused on creating the high level structure and overview to nail down the content each website page will have. Once we've done that, then we can move on to populating each page with the written content in the next section, which I'll talk about. And then once that is done, or also while that is happening, then we can create a final UI design, which will represent the final product. But like I said, this is a super important part that you cannot skip. We need to ensure that the website is going to provide the content people are looking for, that's going to be able to help them learn more about your company, learn more about its services and what makes them unique compared to your competitors, discover a bit more about what the process looks like when working with you, and answer any other questions they have, overcome any other objections they may have in their mind, which is ultimately going to help your company convert website traffic into leads. So once we have a UX outline for each page of the website, then it's time to focus on writing copy for those pages, and then also developing any content or organizing any content that we'll need to create things like blog posts or project posts or templates or any other type of content that can be used in a CMS type platform. I want to really focus in on the copywriting part of this phase. Now, something many freelancers and many other agencies completely skip over, which is extremely detrimental to these types of projects, is completely skipping or having the client handle or having themselves internally handle the copywriting. Now, when I say copywriting, that is just all the text content that the website is going to feature. All copywriting is the art of writing persuasive promotional content that is going to help people learn more about your products and services and ultimately encourage people to take action on your website, such as filling out a form or picking up the phone to give your business a call. Copywriting is one of the most important parts of your entire project because it is directly responsible for generating conversions and leads from your website. There's a very popular book in the marketing industry called Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. Definitely check it out if you're a business owner or a marketing professional. But there's a great quote I love from that book where he talks about pretty websites don't sell things. It is words that sell things. And if we haven't clarified our unique value proposition, and if we're not really telling a story through the website that invites prospective clients and customers to take part in that story, then ultimately we're not going to be successful with our efforts. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like you need to choose one or the other between great design and great copy. An effective website, a truly effective website, is going to have both. But I believe it does a great job of highlighting the importance of copy and how at the end of the day, you can have a great designed website, but if you don't have awesome copy to go along with it, then you're just not going to get the full results you could have out of your project that you would have been able to had you really invested the time and effort into getting the copyright. Now, at Inbound Web Development, we can make it very easy to get the copywriting part of your project right. First of all, we don't believe in having the client do the copy because they are generally not a professionally trained copywriter. The only exception to this would be if they are a large company with an in-house marketing team that has a copywriting person or a content person with a lot of copywriting experience, then it's totally fine. But if you're a small business owner or you're an entrepreneur who's in the trenches of your business and is going to be highly involved in this type of project with whoever you're considering, then definitely you don't want to be writing your own copy. It's kind of like being your own lawyer. You don't want to be your own lawyer, they say. I don't know, I'm not a lawyer. But they say you don't want to be your own lawyer if you're going to be representing yourself at a trial. You want to have an outside third party do that. And I believe the same applies if you're going to be writing the copy for your website. You want an outside professional to handle that part because you're going to be able to take a neutral perspective and they're going to be able to see things that you might not be able to see just because you're so in the weeds of it every single day. They're going to be able to take a beginner's mindset type of approach. And this is going to allow them to come up with interesting angles and really nail down what exactly is the primary motivating factors are when people consider your company's products or services. So for every project we take on, we work with a professional copywriter and we manage them completely in-house, so it's no work for you. The really only involvement our clients have during this copywriting part is a meeting we hold at the start of the design phase called the Copywriting Discovery Workshop. And in this workshop, we have a series of questions we go through with our clients to just nail down their target audience, what types of pain points they're experiencing, what types of questions they need answers to. And then we take all that information about our clients' clients or customers, and then we combine that with what we already know about their business to create an outstanding marketing message for the website where we're going to properly highlight our client's unique value proposition and what makes their services and capabilities unique compared to their competitors, and then tie that together with a detailed understanding of their clients' pain points and problems to write highly effective website copy that's going to be able to convert website traffic into leads. So ultimately, can't recommend enough hiring a professional copywriter. Your project's going to go a lot smoother. You're going to have to do less work. And ultimately, your website is going to be much more effective from a lead gen standpoint. So I think those are some pretty good reasons for why you should probably just hire a copywriter for your project. All right, so once we have a layout structure for each page and we've started to write the copy that's going to be on every page of the website, then it's time to focus on the UI design part of the website. Now, UI just stands for user interface, and this is exactly what you probably already think of when it comes to web design. This is the visual part where we're focused on creating an awesome looking color scheme for the website that is going to be reflected across all the pages of the website. It's where we're nailing down the fonts and the typography we use. Our goal here is to create a cohesive visual design identity that matches your company's brand essence. Now, sometimes the design phase kind of scares people because design is very subjective and they worry that they won't be able to quote unquote get it right. But by following the steps we've outlined up until this point, by nailing down the structure and by writing effective copy, and through that copywriting process, learning a lot more about the people who are going to be on the website, as well as our client's business, we're able to ensure that we're going to be able to create a design that looks great and is going to resonate with prospects who are visiting the website. Ultimately, when it comes to design, whether it's web design or interior design or any other art form, there's a set best practices you should follow that's just going to create good looking layouts and designs to just the human eye. And so when you're knowledgeable about that and you take the time to do the research and discovery like we have up until this point, it really becomes much more straightforward to create a really good looking design that most people are going to find very engaging. Now, overall, the design process is very collaborative. We're definitely very reliant on getting our clients' feedback and opinions because ultimately we're designers, we're developers, we know how to do this, but it's our clients' feedback and opinion that is going to really help us further understand and further refine the design so we're able to create something really, really awesome. So that's why I always encourage my clients to provide as much feedback as possible because ultimately that constructive feedback is going to help us out at the end of the day. Typically, we include 3 revisions per project, so this gives the client multiple chances to review our designs and give their feedback, see them implemented in a later revision, and then offer their feedback again. And we make it super easy for our clients to do this because we use a design tool that's very popular called Figma, which essentially allows us to create super realistic mockups of these website pages. So it represents 100% what the final web page will look like at the end of the day. And it's very simple to use. You can just load it right up in the browser so our clients don't have to download any extra design software and they're still able to see the final design of their website. And it's interactive, so they can scroll through it like it's an actual website. They can click on buttons and that type of stuff. So it's a great design tool and it really helps us out a lot during the design phase. And clients can also leave comments as well throughout the documents. So they're able to say, I like this or change that. And it just makes the design process much, much smoother. Finally, the last thing I want to talk about here in the UI design phase is that it's not necessary to be creating mockups for every single page that we created the UX layouts for earlier. Typically, it always depends on scope, but typically you really only need to focus on maybe the 4, 5, or 6 core pages your website's gonna have. And then, so you create the full design for those, and then you create a design for repeating components throughout the website, such as a navigation or footer. And this way, later on during the development phase, our developers have enough visual design direction to be able to create the design for those other pages that we haven't created a UI design for yet. We can just do that in the development phase because ultimately it's not worth it to spend months and months cranking out design after design in this phase because quite frankly, this is not an art project that your company can afford to take 6 to 8 months to just, get it right. Rather, we need to focus on getting up a highly effective lean website in just about 6 to 8 weeks total from start to finish. And that way you can start on a marketing plan right away to actually start driving traffic and generating leads because that is ultimately where your company's money and resources are best spent. They're best spent in a marketing campaign after the fact. They're not best spent taking on an art project, like I said, for 6 months and going back and forth forever. And ultimately, you need to take this long-term approach to your website because no website is ever just going to be done, quote unquote. You're always going to be needing to add new service pages, new content, new blogs, and it's going to take months and months, if not years, to get to the place where you're going to need to get to ultimately if you want to be able to have a ton of SEO success and you want to be able to have a ton of digital advertising success. So it's not necessary to spend 6 months here designing the website, trying to design every page perfectly. We just need to design 5 core pages so we have enough to work with to finish the website. And then after that, we also allow our clients to provide a final punch list checklist when they're able to view the fully developed design at the end of the development phase in the next phase of the project. And this way our clients are still able to request revisions and make sure the website looks how they want, but we're not wasting essentially a ton of time trying to get the art direction of the site right. Rather, we're just focused on getting the content structure right and creating a good looking design on a core pages. And then we'll bring that throughout the rest of the website in the development phase. So yeah, that's what the design phase looks like from a very high level view. I just tried to give you the main bullet points there. There's obviously a lot more that goes into it. But like I tell all my clients, this is the fun part of the project. So just enjoy it, have fun, feel free to experiment. And ultimately, if you do that, then you're going to be on the right path to success. If you also follow many of the things I outlined in this video, such as doing things in the right sequence, investing in professional website copy, and creating the core UI designs of only the core pages you actually need, and then focusing on designing the rest of the pages later on in the development phase. By doing that, you're going to be able to wrap up this design phase in just about 2 to 3 weeks, and you'll be able to then wrap up your project in the next phase, the development phase, which should also take just about 2 to 3 weeks as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment here below and I'll try to get back to you as fast as possible. And if you're ready to start your project, then feel free to book a strategy call with me just by going to my website, inboundwebdevelopment.com. During that meeting, it's a very friendly, casual 30-minute conversation. I'll get to learn more about your business, your company, and what marketing challenges you're currently facing. And from there, I'll help you brainstorm solutions and help you outline a game plan towards turning things around and ensuring your company is on a path towards digital marketing success.